Hello, everybody. We've got a story for you today. The US and the UK have made a deal. They have struck a deal on the trade agreement, and it has included farming and agriculture. We're going to check it out real quick here on this 2 o'clock segment. Okay, so I have this story from 4 days ago. We're going to look into anything more recent to see if there's anything else going on with it since then. But this is from FarmWeekNow.com. U.S. UK trade deal covers agriculture and ethanol, so that's good news for farmers. We'll see what happens here. Let's go. A trade deal between the U.S. and the UK will create a $5 billion opportunity for new exports for U.S. farmers, including more than 700 million in ethanol exports and 250 million in other agriculture products. President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced the historical trade deal Thursday, with details to still be hashed out. The deal includes billions of dollars for increased market access for American exports, especially in agriculture, dramatically increasing access for American beef, ethanol, and virtually all of the products produced by our great farmers. Trump said, adding, the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non tariff barriers that unfairly discriminate against American products. There we go. That's what we're doing. We're trying to iron out some of these other issues, and the tariffs are just the tool to do it. This is going to boost trade between and across our countries. It's going to not only protect jobs but create jobs, opening market access," said Starmer, who called into the Oval Office during Trump's press conference. According to White House fact sheet, the deal includes more than $700 million in ethanol exports and $250 million in other agriculture products like beef, uh, committing or committing the countries to work together to enhance industrial and agriculture market access, closing loopholes and increase U.S. firms' uh, competitiveness in the UK uh, procurement market. In the UK's procurement market, interesting phraseology. Streamlining customs procedures for U.S. exports, establishing high standard commitments in the area for intellectual property, labor, and environment. Okay. Nobody, or notably, important. Let me make this a little bit bigger for myself here. There we go. Now we got it. Notably, any imported meat in the UK into the UK must comply with UK food standards, including a ban on hormone treated beef. Let's go on that. I definitely appreciate that. We are thankful conversations are occurring, but there is much work to be done to guarantee the U.S. farmers and our agriculture products have fair access to the UK marketplace. Illinois Farm Bureau President Brian Duncan said following the announcement. A reciprocal tariff rate of 10% on the U.S. remains in effect, while the U.S. will agree to an alternative arrangement for the Section 232 tariffs on UK autos. Okay, so they're wheeling and dealing. They're making deals. Under the deal, the first 100,000 vehicles imported to the U.S. by UK car manufacturers each year are subject to the reciprocal rate of 10%, and any additional vehicles after or each year are subject to 25% rates. The United States also recognized the economic security measures taken by the UK to combat global steel access capacity and will negotiate an alternative agreement to the Section 232 tariffs on steel and aluminum, according to the White House. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick noted the continued 10% tariff on the UK will also produce $6 billion in revenue for the United States. U.S. total goods trade with the UK was an estimated 148 billion in 2024. This was just last year. Nice. What's up, Kayla? What's up, Leslie? Come on in. We'll get through this segment and then get out of here. During this press conference, Trump said the trade deal will be the first of many, adding there are numerous deals in the works. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent also plan to meet the Chinese counterparts in Switzerland over the weekend. Interesting. I don't expect too much good to come out of that, but it won't be bad. It'll just be like, oh, hi. Oh, okay. We'll see. We'll see. China very much wants to make a deal, Trump says. Okay, well, we'll see. I hope so. We'll see how that works out, right? British ambassador to the U.S., Peter Mandelson, added that the countries will continue reducing tariffs and non-tariff barriers, and the deal provides very good launch pad for what we build in the future. Interesting. Okay. So I do want to look at and see if there's anything more recent now that it's been a few days. We'll just go through okay, a couple of first trade deals. Here we go. First trade deals struck. U.S. opens talk with China. Okay. So since the first trade deals were struck in the UK, I'm guessing we'll see what it says by Joe Camp on FarmWeekNow.com. The first full week of May featured breaking news about trade deals being announced and anticipated, including an agreement on lower tariffs between the U.S. and United Kingdom, which we just read. Other developments raised the prospects of new trade paths or pacts with countries including India, Japan, and South Korea, providing additional relief for financial markets. A primarily trade meeting was also planned with China and Switzerland, we read. Initial trade talks with China were set to, out of our way here, set to include the U.S. Trade Representative and the Treasury Secretary, with their meeting through to boost the likelihood of an eventual summit between President Donald Trump and China's President Xi Jinping. Yeah, I think I'm saying it right. The timing of a potential tariff reduction agreement is particularly critical for soybeans, based on whether a deal could occur before late summer, when China usually returns to the market to start booking new crop export purchases. Views about the impacts of tariffs will be expressed in future crop reports, paired with accounting updates for old crop exports. The new crop trade outline could make the difference for whether 2026 carry out estimates start above or below 2 billion bushels. Similarly, the USDA export predictions will be determining factor for if soybean edit or ending stocks grow or shrink from the current season. The components of crop demand may have the larger bearing on ending stocks direction until um, what is this word? Acreage. Acreage. Don't see that very often. Acreage and yield estimates begin to change later in summer. Yeah, see, I'm not an acreage farmer. I'm a indoor farmer over here. Grain export sales have performed better than what lower market prices show were featured since the initial announcement of tariffs. Some degree of buying was expected to result. Some was expected to result from countries attempting to stock up. Oh yeah, okay, that's right. Stock up before new charges would take effect. Although the sustained piece of trade business pace of trade businesses points to a large competitive advantage that remains for the U.S. exports. Okay. Weekly corn sales just reached the highest total in nearly 4 months, amid a string of daily flash deals for countries including Spain and Mexico. Interesting. A large soybean sale to Pakistan came as that country was making headlines for its involvement in a fresh conflict with India. Right. So that just, that's going on right now. There's a war happening right now, unless they've reached a ceasefire that I don't know of. Pakistan has moved to retaliate after India uh, conducts military strikes against Pakistan in response to a terrorist attack in the contested Kashmir region. On the same day that Pakistan was noted as a subliminal buyer or substantial buyer of the U.S. soybeans, both Pakistan and India were shown to be active importers of U.S. cotton. India was also the top purchaser of American soybean oil last week. Soybean oil. Oof. For now, grain futures remain closely tied to the evolving demand prospects, and prices are poised to move in response to how quickly trade agreements materialize or fall apart. Negotiations proceed favorably and lead to real buying commitments, especially from China. It could reignite bullish optimism and slow the recent wave of selling pressure. Marketing plans should take into account the need to manage risk related to any setbacks or delays in reaching such deals, but also with respect to the possibility of positive price effects when progress is reported. Okay. Honestly, I wish they would use other crops to like give us an idea, like to tell us what's happening out there. But they always want to bring up soybeans and grain. And I guess the problem with that is that most countries have to sort of feed their masses, right? Or at least in the first world, I mean, every country wants to feed their masses, but what I'm getting at is like they judge that in how much like bread they can make, you know, for lack of a more intellectual breakdown. But they think, well, there's so many people we can feed because there's so much grain we produce, and I would rather see how many nutritious people we can produce. Not nutritious, but like Soylent Green. No, but I mean, how many healthy is a bad word. I mean, optimal health people, and not just fed people, not just alive, but optimally nutrition dense types of food, not just soybeans and all this, grain and soybeans. It's just kind of it's depressing, to see this as the main some of the main factors that or the main crops that they use when they talk about how good we're doing. Here's the Dow, or the stock market on corn, soybeans, wheat, and it's just a nonstop. Now you could argue the benefits of some of those things, but the fact that they are just they're the main thing we talk about when we're talking about agriculture. Now, of course, we started this whole segment with they added ethanol. Ethanol was part of the exports, and we in Illinois we produce a ton of corn just for ethanol. Just for ethanol, it's just insane. Um, we could go to X, but it's all right. Well, I think it's a good thing that we're ironing some of this stuff out. I think that the tariffs are just kind of a tool to sort of force people to the table. And if you don't think that's necessary, you haven't been paying attention, at least during my lifetime. Every country out there will lean on the US. It's funny, lean on us as well. But yeah, we'll lean on any country really. Let's take the US out of the example. Any country that seems to be doing better than your country, you may want to try to lean on. And that's not necessarily evil or bad, but we have to, as a country should do, we have to stand up for ourselves. So look, I see everyone's concerns. I hear a lot of people's concerns, and people definitely, think that this is going to be nothing but bad news, and it's only going to make things worse, and this and that. I foresee that it should. I hope that it gets better. I hope that it makes things way better. But anyone that was for this knew that there would be a time of pain, a time of uh, adjustment, and not all pain is bad. Sometimes that we need to grow and we have to change things to do that, just like I did with my show. Changing my schedule was better for me in real life, but I'm going through the pains of it now. I mean, every morning 10 a.m. It's hard to get the same people that would have watched me at nighttime in there in the morning, you know what I mean? So I'm going to have to rebuild my audience, basically, to new people that are willing to meet me on my schedule, which would be 10 a.m. And so it's similar to this, in that we have to rebuild our trade agreements with people so that we can show them where we stand and say, where can we meet in the middle. And I think that it's going to be positive for our farmers, especially now that we have a higher degree of demand here in this country for higher nutrition and cleaner foods. So there's going to be an opportunity in there for farmers, newer farmers, regenerative farmers, holistic, organic, all those things. There's farmers coming up now that are just chomping at the bit to do what? To take the jobs of those farmers that are out there right now that are doing bad things, doing non-regenerative practices, using factory farming, using chemical waste, using all of these, glyphosate, all the bad things. We have tons of farmers out there right now doing that. How do we get them to stop doing that? Well, it ain't going to be, you know, offering them offering them money would do it, but that's not going to make things cheaper, that's for sure. But if we were to incentivize new upcoming farmers to grow the stuff that we actually want, which is which would be better food, we'll just generalize it, healthier food, better products, there's opportunity there. There's opportunity. People think of it like, oh no, but all of our factory farms are gonna take a hit. Small farms will too. I'm not saying they won't, but the small farms that do things organically and do things in a better holistic way, they're going to see an uptick. I bet you they're going to see an uptick because if you're going to look at prices and you're going to see the small farmer price similar to the big giant, you know, multi corporate conglomerate of factory farms, their prices are going up because of all this. Maybe at least maybe temporarily, maybe not. That could be an easy choice for people to make. Say, hey, look, it's no longer the cheaper option to go with the garbage glyphosate. It's now the same or similar price. I'm going to go with a better food. I'm going to go with the small farmer, the small business person that's out there doing it organically and stuff. So I mean, you tell me what you think. Comment below. No wars, right? Well, there's a war going on right now, Leslie, and if and I tell you what, if trade wars will stop kinetic wars, I hope that we can, come to new agreements with a lot of countries. But unfortunately, we do have this issue right now with Pakistan and India, which could suck China into it. And if somebody like China or even multiple other countries getting into it would could potentially escalate things, obviously. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But those kinds of things affect our exports as well. You have a country at war, they're going to either increase or decrease exports of food. That's for sure. Decrease meaning, if there's a lot of casualties, then you don't, the food need or demand will go down, right? Um, so there's a lot of factors there, and I just think that getting us into some even footing with other countries when it comes to just a basic agreement of this is what we'll charge you, this is what you can charge us, and we'll still ship you our goods. Um, but anyway, I don't know exactly what you meant by no wars, but yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice if we could maybe get Trump to negotiate a ceasefire between Pakistan and India. Look, I know there'll be people out there that'll assume that's bad or say that there's something wrong with it, but if he can, it'd be great. We'll see. We'll see. He likes to do those kinds of things because it makes him look good. And you know what? If he can do it, he would look good. Just saying. Like that's obvious. So anyway, that's it for this segment, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Follow the channel. Share the show with your friends. And we'll be back maybe a little later on this evening for another quick segment. And yeah, we'll see you later. Remember, everybody's got to eat.